First term of the geometric series is 120. The sum to infinity is 480. Show that the common ratio is 3/4. So the first term, A, is 120. The sum to infinity, the formula for that, which you do get given in your formula booklet, is A, the first term, divided by 1 minus R. So we are told that that equals 480. And we were also told that A was 120, so I can put that here. And so now I've got a nice simple formula to work out what R is going to be. So if I times both sides by 1 minus R, expand out those brackets, take away the 480 from both sides. So 120 minus 480 is minus 360. And then divide both sides by the minus 480, which gives 3/4, which is what I needed to show. So R is 3/4. Part B. Find to two decimal places the difference between the 5th term and the 6th term. Right, let's work out what the 5th and 6th term would be. The first term we know is 120. The second term is going to be 120 multiplied by my common difference of 3/4, common ratio of 3/4. So 120 times 3/4 is 90, which I will now multiply by 3/4 again to get the third term, which again, I'm going to multiply that by 3/4 again to get the 4th term. And again for the 5th term. And one more time for the 6th term. And if we then take the 6th term away from the 1st term, so take this away from this, so 37.96875 minus the 28, we get our answer as to two decimal places, 9.49. That's the difference between the 5th term and the 6th term. Obviously, you could use the formula, the nth term formula for that. To get this term here, you could have done 120 times the common ratio to the power 4. And to get this term here, you can do the common ratio, the first term times the common ratio to the power 5, and then take them away. I don't think it matters too much in the case of which method you use when the numbers are small. Part C, calculate the sum of the first 7 terms. So I could work out the 7th term and then just add all of those numbers together. Or I could use the sum formula, which again you do get given it in the formula booklet. The sum of the first n terms of a geometric series is equal to A times 1 minus R to the power n divided by 1 minus R, where A is the first term, R is the common ratio, and n is how many terms you have. So for the first 7 terms, we'll have 120 times 1 minus 3/4 to the power 7 divided by 1 minus 3/4, which is 415.93 to 2 decimal places. We are then told that the sum of the first n terms of the series is greater than 300. And we need to calculate the smallest possible value of n. So the sum of the first n terms is greater than 300. So I'm going to find out when the sum would equal 300. And then I can say that n is going to have to be bigger than that. So the sum of the first n terms, so this is going to be, let me just write down the formula. And like we did before, we know a is 120. We know our r is 3/4. So when does that equal 300? Let's solve this equation and work out what n would be when the sum equals 300. So first of all, the 1 take away the 3/4 is 1/4. And then if we times both sides by 1/4, that will remove that. 3/4 times, so 300 times 1/4 is 75. I'm now going to divide both sides by 120. Uh, 75 divided by 120 will simplify to be 5/8. So I can simplify that to be 5/8. I am now going to rearrange, so I'm going to move the 3/4 to the power n over here and the 5/8 over there. So 1 minus 5/8 is equal to 3/4 to the power n. The 1 minus the 5/8 is 3/8. And at this stage, I can now take logarithms of both sides to work out the power n. So if I do a log on the left-hand side, and I can do a log on the right-hand side, I'm just doing log base 10 at this stage. So then I can take the power here and move this to the front. So I'll get log 3/8 is equal to n log of 3/4. And now I can divide both sides by log 3/4. So n equals log of 3/8 divided by log of 3/4. So now if I use my calculator for that, then I'm going to get as my answer for n equals 3.409. So the 3.4, the sum of the first 3.4 terms would be greater than 300. Now obviously you can't have 3.4 terms. You have either 3 terms or you have 4 terms. The sum of the first 3 terms would be less than 300. So we need the sum of the first 4 terms. So 4 is the smallest possible value of n where the sum would be greater than 300. Now I did this by doing log base 10. Slightly different way you could have decided to do this is rather than log base 10, you could have done log base 3/4. So just to show you that quickly, you could have done log base 3/4 of both sides. And that would also give you the 3.4. And then again, you can say that n is going to be 4 because it has to be bigger than 300.